fact or fiction? Mo Salah is the biggest reason Florian Wirtz hasn't clicked at Liverpool. He's become a problem for the German star's development. That is claims from leading German outlets who think Mo Salah is the biggest problem that's stopping Wirtz from being a hit at Liverpool and in the Premier League.
That's big fiction. I don't know where this statement's come from that Mo Salah is the reason why Florian Wirtz is not performing. Of course, Mo Salah hasn't been Mo Salah this season. It's been a big drop-off for him. He just looks like a shadow of the player that we saw last season. He's a year older, he's earning all that money. I don't know what's happened to Salah, but to then put that onto the reason why Florian Wirtz is not performing, it's ludicrous if you're asking me. Of course, if Salah was on form and he was the Salah of last year, maybe he would have helped Florian Wirtz link up play. He would have helped him play better. Obviously, it drives a team on if your best player is doing well as well. So, yeah, there is that argument that Wirtz may have done a bit better if Salah was firing. But no, Florian Wirtz needs to worry about Florian Wirtz and his form and performing. That's it. For me, I think that's big fiction. We can't be blaming Salah for the reason why Florian Wirtz hasn't clicked. Yeah, the only other point of fingers that you can be pointing at would be pointing at Slot. He's the manager. He's the one that's integrating him into the squad. So that's the only person I'll be pointing the finger at. But yeah, not Salah for me. Sorry, fiction on that one.
I agree. What they've essentially said is that there's been a few times this year where Wirtz could have had the ball squared to him and he would have scored tap-ins. And there's times where he set Salah up and he's missed. Those things would have given him GA. The pressure would have been less. The focus would have been a lot less. And I don't know, it feels a little far-fetched. I think there's multiple things wrong at Liverpool. But what's your view on it, Seb? Because obviously Wirtz has had some criticism, but nowhere near as much as I think most of us would have expected from the media for such an expensive player who's had very little impact on a domestic level so far. But the German press now really coming out and going at Mo Salah and Liverpool.
I think this is just the Germans are obviously like, oh, one of our biggest players are flopping at the moment. His stocks are going to go down. But I don't think it's a coincidence that every time he goes back to Germany, if it be for Liverpool or for the German national team, suddenly he's really good again. It's just a load of rubbish. Just talking about specifically the question, obviously, surrounding Salah. Salah's dropped off because of, I think, largely because Trent's not there anymore. But it's nothing to do with Wirtz. Wirtz is struggling adapting to a new league. He's struggling with the system, especially because before, I think people forget how rigid Xabi Alonso's system was before. He had a very specific role in that team as well, and he's just not got that the same at Liverpool. Obviously, they're struggling even transitioning style. The longer Slot's been there trying to implement his style, the worse Liverpool seem to get. He's just not suiting. He's been moved about all over the place. Like, he's been played in about 3-4 different positions, and it doesn't help that the player he kind of has taken his position over is Szoboszlai, and Szoboszlai's probably been their best player this year. I just think it's a multitude of things, and I don't think Salah is anything to do with Salah, really. They're not. Obviously, he serviced him and he's missed a couple of sitters, but that's not. I've honestly, this is clutching at straws. If I'm going to try and be, try and delve into it even in a slight manner, then maybe they're getting in the way of each other. Maybe Wirtz wants to. Maybe if Flourish playing on the right-hand side, he's not going to get that opportunity under Salah. So if I'm going to give any credence to the article, that's the only thing I can really think of is maybe Wirtz would be all right on the right-hand side. He did play that a bit for Leverkusen. I just think he's struggling with the system. He's struggling with the league. And it just happens with some players. Obviously, it's early days, but the early signs are not great. But sometimes it's just some players are world-class and they just can't cope with a specific league. It's happened loads of times. It might just be one of those situations, but yeah, for me, there's just nothing to it. Even if I try and give it some credence, I'm struggling to give it anything really.
Yeah, to be honest, I probably agree with the both of you two. But you know what? The only way I could see this being fact, yeah, is if you took the line of thinking that when Salah plays well, Liverpool play well, and by default, everyone else plays well around him. That's the only way that this could be fact. But I think what is more diabolical about this is when Salah wasn't passing to Mane, no one was saying this. No one had this much chest about this player's not performing. The fact of the fact is this, right? Man cost 100 and something million and he's rubbish. He's rubbish. There's no, you can't actually like try and do a dance with it and make it say or look different, he's rubbish. Yeah, he's absolutely rubbish. And he's looked rubbish because he's playing rubbish. Simple as. And that is okay, because sometimes, like Seb and everybody else says, sometimes you come into the league, yeah, and you struggle. But at the same time, I just look at him and just think, yeah, mentally, bro, you're not there either. Like, but part of me didn't even blame him. Like, everyone gassed you up. Like, realistically, if we all sit here and say, when did we hear of Florian Wirtz? Max 2 seasons ago. Max. Before that, we never heard his name. If somebody had asked us, we might have thought he was a flipping like off-brand of Mercedes. We would have never heard of this guy ever, right? All of a sudden, he has 1 good season under Xabi Alonso, and we're saying he's one of the best in the world. No, he was a phenomenal player in a phenomenal system, all right? But form is temporary, class is permanent. I don't think he'd ever reached a level where he was like class. Do you get it? He was just in really good form at Bayer Leverkusen. So for me, I'm like, all right, cool, I get it. I don't even hold it against him, really, other than I just think his mentality is a bit weak, because I think other players have struggled, and then got it together in the end. So I'm looking at him a bit and I'm going, I hope you do get in the end, because for 100 and something mil, you need to be decent. I'm not having this, oh, he's looked good, but he's just not had the GA. I'm not having it. In the summer, Tom Little said he expects him to get, 10 GA. And I nearly punched my camera off its thing, because I said, that's disgusting for 100 something mil. Yeah. Then he said, 20 mil, yeah. I mean 20 GA. He's not good enough. He's just not good enough. And I get what the German media are doing. They're going, he's a high level asset who plays for our team. We need him to get good in the end. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a scapegoat for him. But at the same time, I just think long term, that's not going to work for him anyway, because he's not going to get any better because people make excuses. He's got to find something within him that goes, I can get the game by the scruff of the neck. If you're not a scruff of the neck player, that's fine. If you can't do that, fine. But then just accept mediocrity and let's move on. Because we're not going to give him any more love than we did. When Havertz came and struggled at Chelsea, he didn't get this. Nobody was saying, oh, what happened to Havertz? Nobody gave him this blight. We've seen countless other players come from, even Xavi Simons, right? People have been as a Chelsea fan myself, I've been cooking Xavi Simons. But then I look over there at Merseyside and I see that little Frodo Baggins look at you and I say, listen, you are not good enough, bro. You ain't got the minerals, and I don't think you're going to survive in this league, bro. I genuinely don't. And if we blame Salah, we're doing a madness. That's just generally, honestly, it's mad. It's madness.
Do you know what I find interesting, though? This is, for a long time, fans don't like this. Football fans don't like this opinion of mine, because I think it makes them feel a bit uncomfortable. But what Liverpool do, I think, better than most clubs in England, is even when they know it's cap, they defend one of their own. They don't, considering they're the most successful team in English football history, it also flies in the face of Standards FC as well, which I like because it's a nice little dig. But I was working with the Red Men from Red Men TV back in January, and we were filming a segment, and they were asked to talk about the players at their club they'd want to be sold. And they were like, no one's on the list. So there must be a player in your squad you don't think is good enough. And they were like, yep, we talk about that after they leave. We don't do it when they're here, the Liverpool players. And that's kind of a lot of their mantra. Now, not every Liverpool fan follows along with it, but I think what it does when the vast majority behave that way is the media are crap. The media now, what they do is they see what the big YouTubers are saying. They see what the big content creators are doing, and they go, we'll have some of that. We'll copy it. You know, they're even basically Sky have started their own fan channel now. Do you know what I mean? It's hilarious. They do exactly the same things that we do. They just have lots of money to kind of perpetuate it. That's why Wirtz isn't getting the attention that Kai Havertz got at Chelsea. Any flop at United has had. Arsenal's players aren't even flopping and they're getting more attention. Is because our own, one thing, whether we like it or not, the media are partly to blame, but our own fan base. Like we had Dave on here earlier. A lot of time for Dave. Comes on my shows. A lot of respect for him as a man. But 1 minute, we're a top 10 max team, could get relegated. The next, it's, for fuck's sake, if Šeško would have turned up, we could have won the title. Liverpool fans don't typically do that. They control the narrative. And because the media is shit and they copy what we now say, you don't get the hit pieces. So there is an element here of a message. Stop maybe shitting on your own club so much, and maybe you don't get as much media pressure. Maybe they let some of your players actually settle. Maybe they let some of your players relax into their roles and you'll get better out of them. Maybe there's a message in there. Now, I know that content creators who thrive, especially on TikTok, thrive off of the emotional roller coaster every second of the day will go, no, that's nonsense. Well, of course you think it's nonsense, because if you agree with it, you have to change the kind of content you make, and that's fine. But whether what I'm saying is completely true or partly true, the one thing I do believe is 100%. The reason Wirtz isn't getting the attention that other clubs, quote unquote, slow starters or flops get is because their fans don't turn. By and large, their fans, they just go, I'm sticking with this guy until he leaves the football club. And I think there's a message somewhere in that, I feel, personally. Let's have a look here. What I respect about Liverpool fans is that they protect their players through bad form. I agree. By and large, they do. This here says Floppy and Wirtz, he has had plenty of attention from rival fans predominantly. From rival fans have pushed it. And I get, by the way, rival fans, do you fill your boots? You're meant to do it. Like, rival fans are meant to do it. By and large, of course you are. Someone, why don't you do it, Terry? I made a promise to my community on the Terrace I'd be as impartial and as unbiased as possible from the start of me making this channel. If people like it, great. If people don't like it, again, fuck off. I don't care. I've made a promise. This is what I do. But I get it. This here says, Liverpool are class and the most classy football club, not Arsenal. But them booing Trent, who won everything for them and owes them nothing, is some I disagree with. I mean, look, but you're a man who comes on here and lies about how much your club has spent, lies about the trophies you haven't won. You say Saka's completely finished. You say your manager's responsible for every injury of every player at your club. Yet you're annoyed. You also say Liverpool, the classiest club around, because they had a trick, because of how they behave. But yet they're booing a man because they feel stabbed in the back by him. I mean, it strikes me as I don't think you're an Arsenal fan, if I'm being honest with you, my friend. You might be. This is the guy that also regularly calls me out for using bots. And I want to tell you about this account. This account has no videos on no live streams, no videos, 3 shorts on his YouTube channel, but yet has 27,000 followers, but accuses me of buying bots.
Awkward.
Very awkward. Very awkward. So, Terry, you are suggesting we all slate Liverpool players. I am saying do what you feel is right. If you're a Liverpool fan, you want to slag off a player. Again, I never tell people what they should or shouldn't do, but that doesn't mean I don't give an opinion about the impact what you do has. There is a fundamental difference between those two situations. There's a live and let live attitude of you're free to do what you want, but there is a consequence to your actions. And I think one thing we do at Arsenal, we do at Man United, we do at Chelsea, we do at Man City, don't do it so much because they've been very successful, but we certainly see it at Tottenham. We see it at all these clubs, is we go at our managers and our players so heavy, so hard, so fast. And I don't know if you guys see the pattern. Whatever fans start saying on a Saturday, you can be sure there's an article about it on a Sunday in a newspaper, or Gary Neville's talking about it, or the Overlap are talking about it. They don't even. This is the most annoying thing about the mainstream media. Now, this is a professional discomfort rather than a football fan one. Is they don't even have to have real good researchers. They just need to watch 4 or 5 fan channels and go, right, we're talking about those things. They don't even have to fucking do any work anymore. It's easy. But then once they start saying it, everyone goes, oh, I was only having a rant because I was angry and had too many Stellas. Maybe I was right. And then people start doubling down on it. And I think we're too harsh on our own players sometimes, personally. But that's just me. Just me personally. Oh, okay. Someone said Fabio. Thank you for letting us know about Fabio. Do you know any one of those players, Fabio Carvalho? Do you remember the hype around him 3 or 4 years ago and what he was going to become and be? It's crazy what happened, you know.